What's going on YouTube? Justin Ward here made a 15th place with his Mermail deck list. Also with the first place, the deck list is the same except for 2 card choices. Paul Cooper, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Cooper.
Last week, Tubby.
Oh, nice. Hey, I got this on the 16th. I taught that Kansas Regional.
Yeah. Anyways, he played Mermails. It was a little bit more tech than usual. He's going to explain everything, and yeah, go ahead.
Okay, self-explanatory cards are the 3 Megalos. I just feel like this is needed, especially with how the mirror match is. And also, like, Big Eye and Gaios are really effective, especially in the mirror match, as well as any other random matchups like Fire Fist. I played 3 Tias, which is I also think is pretty staple to play in 3. It gets all your combos going, basically. It's a really good, like, one of my favorite first turn plays is Tias with Dragoons, and that just, like, gets you, I usually go for Gund on it because I have a lot of discard outlets, which I'll show in the deck later. The 3 Lin, obviously, the 3 Bispike. I really like this card, especially in the Mono Mermail version. In the Undyne one, I actually didn't really like the Undyne version, but this version I like a lot. I just thought it was a subpar card in that, and it's actually really great in this one, especially with Gun being able to get it back and triggering its effect again. A lot of people don't play 3, but me and Urker played 3 Gun this weekend. We've come to the conclusion that this is actually one of the best cards in the deck, and it can help fuel most, if not all, your combos. It's a really good card, especially in the late game whenever you have like those 1 discard outlets or any of the other discard outlet cards that we played, which you'll be able to see later. 3 Dragoons for the searching, obviously. 3 Marksman and 3 Diva. I really like this card. For some reason, I usually saw myself siding 1 out every match this weekend. A lot of people might think it's unconventional, but there's like just other cards I prefer to have in the matchups and drawing another one of these, especially after I've already gone through my level 5 synchros. We main deck 2 Max C. We came into the event thinking that Mono Mermail would be the most played deck this weekend. I didn't play a mirror match until the last 2 or 3 rounds of the day. Urker played, I think, 3 or 4 total throughout the day, and he's playing 1 right now in top 8. 1 infantry. We really couldn't find room for any more. I really like the card, but you really only need only 1. It's like most of the time it's just used to go Diva in the Army Armor or Gachi. But other than that, I think it's okay, but not necessary for 2. Gores to complement the Max C's. This came in handy. Really came in handy against like the Saber kid I played. I had this with Max C already, and he decided to still go off even like I was on board for some reason. I have no idea why he did that.
Bad players be bad.
Yeah, bad players be bad, and for some reason it was Josh Turley too. But one card that a lot of people like completely overlooked and think is very subpar is Abyss Soldier.
Why?
Why?
All explanations.
Okay. I actually, like, in Therio, this was seeming really good. While we were testing against agents, it seemed we were losing to, most of the time we were either losing, like, Christia or any other card that would, like, lock us out from doing our combos. This is just a 1-card outer to things like Christia, as well as it can bounce things like Soul Drain back to the hand and everything too, so you can like get your combos going and everything. Plus it also helps as 1800 body too. Today this actually came in really handy against me, or not against me, in my round 3 match. I was playing against Fire Kings and he had the Garunix loop going on me, and I couldn't keep board presence. And he mind crushed me, calling Marksman, and I had a hand of this with Tias Dragoons, and then he read this and he was like, oh wow. And then I summoned this, just dropped the Dragoons on him, bounced his Garunix, and I just won the match from there, or won game 3 from there. I actually think this is a very good tech choice. Yeah, it can also, like, I mean, especially if they've already used Gaios' effect in the mirror match, you can just summon this and then bounce it back to the extra, or bounce like a Big Eye or Gungear back if you can't get over it. For the spell lineup, we only played one-Os, which were Storm, Darkhold, Reborn, Avarice, one MST, a Salvage, a Lightning Vortex, and
Why Lightning
a
Vortex?
Mind Control. Lightning Vortex, in theory, it seemed really good, especially in those board states where in the mirror match where they go all off, and then you need that one card in order to like control it, get the game back in the tempo that you want it. It also complemented very well with the 3-gun we played. Even if you discard it for a cost, you still get Gun's effect. So this essentially turned our Lightning Vortex from a -1 into like a neutral or a +1 depending on what we brought back with Gun. I actually really like this card and it came in handy a lot today. So did Mind Control too. A lot of people overlook this card, but it's actually pretty decent, especially going into a regional knowing that you're going to play a lot of, or thinking that you're going to play a lot of mirror matches. Only matchups I really sided out against were Executors and Fire Fist. For some reason, I only lost that Fire Fist deck because he topped 10 key on me with 0 cards in hand to get Bear and completely turn momentum in his way. So yeah, that's it for the spells. I still like the one Salvage. I can get back Gund and Diva and Marksman and anything.
I saw people playing like 2 or 3 like throughout like all the deck lists. So will you believe that like, if you had more space, you would play more than just one Salvage?
No, I would only play one of this card. Like I don't want to clump my hands with cards that really aren't going to be useful. And this was another reason why we played only one MST. In the mirror match, yeah, MST is fine and everything, but it just sucks. Like when they have Sphere on board or Sphere, like you just use fuck. I'm having a brain lapse right now because I've been up for so long. It's really only good against Sphere in the mirror match, and every card is chainable. So like you really only hold on to this until they activate Sphere, which you're basically just sitting with a dead card in their hand, or you just wait to end phase MST.
Right.
We did side the other two though, just for the like random matchups like Fire Fist, Dino Rabbit, as well as any other trap heavy decks.
Right.
For traps, we played 3 Sphere. This with Lyn and Gund is probably the heart and soul of the deck. It's what helps fuel your combos, get shit on board and all that. I used to only like 2 of this before like we were testing this version, and it actually came up a lot having 3. I would usually see myself siding one out in certain matchups, but other than that, I really like that 3. A lot of people played 2, but we only played 1 Squall. We really only see this as like a game ender card, and it's like dead early game. And it's really only a card you want for late game really. Like I know in my last round I was playing on the bubble at table 2, and I opened this with no targets or anything in the mirror match, and I was like, wow, this really is not handy at all. I would only play one of this searchable whenever you need it with Megalo, and like we also didn't play lead, so there really wasn't a need to play 2 of these. Another unconventional choice is Wind Blast. We played this for the gun combo too. It actually came in handy against that Fire King deck game 1. I Wind Blasted Grunux back to the top after he did the onslaught on me. And it caused me to win the game since it made his next draw dead and his whole entire hand dead. It's also very useful in the matchup if you play it right, in the mirror match if you play it right. Say for instance they ditch 2 waters and drop Megalo. They establish the chain links for their monsters, and then they say they target this with Marksman, and then they activate Megalo. What you do is you chain Wind Blast and like discard Gun, and you'll spin Megalo to the top. And then what will happen is Megalo's effect will resolve, so it'll add a Abyss Spell or Trap. And then once the entire chain is done resolving, Megalo will be shuffled back into the deck. So really, Sphere only replaced the Megalo.
It's the same deck as first place.
We also played a Solemn Judgment. I usually side this out in the mirror match because of the random OTK factor and the fact that it can't stop like Abystius, Megalo. If you play lead, it can't stop lead. If they actually ditch 3, which I've never seen anybody do, although I did do it once last weekend. But it's a pretty sound card. It's also an easy side out card.
Right.
It's just really versatile, and I boarded this out against Samurais and Inzectors today. And I also boarded it out against that Fire King deck. For side deck, we went with a pretty generic side. We sided Gemini Imps for the random Dark World matchups. We just didn't want to lose to the Dark World matchup. Urker actually played Dark World, I think, either around 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5, I can't exactly remember. And these two copies single-handedly won him the game against the Dark World matchup. I think he actually played two in the tournament, but don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure. We also played 2 Snowman. It's a good card, especially against Fire Fist and decks like Rabbit, where they just basically try to stall the game state so that they gain advantage. This is also searchable with Pike, by using Pike's effect to search it. I really didn't. I only played 1 Rabbit deck and 1 Fire Fist all day, so I really didn't board it in that much. But the couple times I did see it, it actually did help out. For instance, I would search Lynn and set Snowman against Fire Fist, and then they would think that they could get in there with Gorilla, but then they would attack it right into Snowman Eater and it would destroy it. So it's just a pretty decent card, especially against Bear too. If Bear can pop it before it even gets a chance to flip up, but the fact that it just gets rid of threats whenever you need it is also good. And it's also you can also bring it back with salvage. We sided the 2 MST. We sided these in against decks like Fire Fist, Rabbit. I actually boarded these in against Samurai too, just so that I didn't have to deal with fucking the macros that they would side in. Like I was playtesting with a friend who was playing Samurai's and macro main, and it just was really frustrating that I only had 1 MST to deal with all that. Especially once we got Xian and macro on board, and it was just like, wow, what am I gonna do? But I still won a couple of those games anyway by just grinding it out. We sided 2 Mirror Force as well. We thought this was a better card in general over Deep Prison. It just hits the whole board, and it gets rid of the same amount of threats as Deep Prison would, and sure, it doesn't remove it, but...
You weren't scared of, any Starlight Roads or anything? Or?
No, I actually didn't encounter Starlight Road every time I played this. I actually had what happened was against Rabbit, he had a Dolka and a Thunder King out, and I had 2 Mirror Force set, and the first Mirror Force I activated, he Solemn Judgmented it. And then when he attacked with the Thunder King next, I Mirror Forced again, and it just cleared his whole board, and then I won the next turn. I just think it's a really good card, and I like it a lot better than Mirror Force. We sided 2 Mind Crush for the Mirror match. I also boarded this in against Fire Fist, but that guy made Night Beam, so the one time I actually did have it, I couldn't even activate it against that deck. He went Night Beam, then 10 key for Bear, and I was like, wow, my entire tempo swing is gone. I don't know why he made Night Beam. I guess it was a good meta call or something, but I just don't like it.
I think it's a pretty good card. I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, it's a good card. I just really don't like it, especially when I can play. If I set 2 cards, if he targeted my Sphere, I could be like Mind Crush, Chain Sphere. But yeah, that's it's just really easy to play around Night Beam. We also sided 1 Trag. This was just to go with the Max C in the main, and it's also DDV target and can help win games too. I know I boarded this in against the Saber Kid. I didn't see it, and I got my ass handed to me in game 2 by Vanisher, but then I couldn't get rid of it for some reason. But yeah, I didn't really draw this weekend. I only had it once in my hand, and the one time I did have it, I didn't even drop it. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut this card from the deck or not yet. We'll just have to see and test some more. The deck dev, Gores, technically Diva, and Trag are all deck dev targets.
You said that you wanted to actually take it out?
Yeah, I actually do want to take this out now that you bring it up. Yeah, it's useful in the mirror match, but there's other times where I'd actually prefer to have something else in this. It requires me to commit resources I really don't want to commit if I want to get this off in the mirror match. I either have to take damage to drop Trag or Gores, or I have to waste a Diva to go into a Librarian or Catastor to drop the Max C. And Urker said he absolutely hated it. When he had I'll mention it later. He had a Dark Monster with over 2,000 attack on field, and it was a mirror match, and the guy Dark Pulled him. He chained deck dev and didn't even hit a single card in the hand, and the guy just went off and won the next turn. So, like, after today, I probably wouldn't even play this anymore. I just think it's pretty much of a win more card. If you're smart, you should win the mirror match like 90% of the time. But that's, like, the mirror match just sucks balls. It's just whoever draws better.
Oh,
really.
yeah.
One Dust Tornado. Urker brought up a good point that having too much spell trap destruction in the side deck can cause dead hands early in mid game. Like, sure, you'll be drawing into all this stuff where they're like D-Fish and everything, but like, say you boarded 2 of these and you had 3 MST, and say you sided a Malevolent Catastrophe, like, drawing into all those instead of your combo pieces and ruining the consistency of your deck is just bad in my opinion, and also his. Now, a very interesting tech choice that Urker brought up was Vanity's Fiend. This actually single-handedly won me. It was round 8. Round 8, game 2. He deck dev'd me, but I had Reborn and this in hand, so I just Reborn something, and then I dropped this, and then he could not win the game at all. We came to the conclusion that in testing...
I can do it. Alright guys, sorry about that.
Okay, I was talking about Vanity's Fiend. It's a really good card in the mirror match. It's also a deck dev target if you decide to side it. It's like,
Alright, cool.
We played 2 Vanity's Fiend. It was very good, especially in the mirror match. It won me game 2 in my round 7 matchup. Unfortunately, I didn't see it in my round 8 where I lost. I was really hoping I'd draw it. What? But basically,
this guy, undefeated.
Yeah, William Urker, right
William
here.
undefeated with this deck, basically.
But it is the same main deck and side deck. But we had the same idea, or we didn't have the same idea, but we just theorioed together.
Yeah,
so fuck you.
That deck's me.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was like, hey, let's play 3 guns.
Do the deck thing.
1st and 15th.
Yeah.